there is an increase, gradual but perceptible increase in not the government but other bodies, religious organizations, community organizations trying to clamp down on anything that they don't agree with. There is also here that many journalists have been nudged out of their jobs because they were critics of the new regime that has come in, and this happened before the elections were held. I would like to think that that was not the case in each one of them, but we don't know the story from inside. So there is a fear that different ways are being found to suppress people with views that are critical, that are different. I would like to just point out one more thing, and that is that a new thing that is emerging, a new trend that's emerging is corporate ownership of the media, which is different from governments putting pressures. We have all been used to governments putting pressures, and that all our attention has been towards that, Freedom Watch, Human Rights Watch, Amnesty. The real fear is corporate pressure. In the last 7 to 10 years, we've seen corporate buy-ins of, the corporates are not just buying in print, they are also buying television, and their buy-ins have created these massive newspaper organizations which are funded by business interests. Not interests which are traditionally newspapers, but interests in petrochemicals, in all kinds of other big projects. And the fear is, and we are seeing that happen, the fear is that they are going to control what is the message that's sent out. Well, that is what it's amounting to. Yes, yes. Where and that the fear is that self-censorship may creep into newsroom, where a reporter might say, "Look, I know my boss is going to cut this out. I might as well not write it about it." How does one measure that? I don't know what 20 reporters in my newsroom are thinking. If they come to me, I'm going to say there have been innumerable cases where reporters have come to me when I was the editor and said, I think I have a story which goes against the interests of the corporate, which is a big advertiser. Now, my response was to say, to hell with it. If it's a verified story, you've got every side of the story, we'll publish it. But who knows what's going on now? Nobody is worried about independent journalism in this country. What we are worried about, threats to independent journalism. So if a corporate owns, let's say, even 5 newspapers, 3 magazines, it's not reached that, but even if they did own 5 television stations, 3 newspapers, 3 magazines, websites, there are enough out there who will not care about that ownership and go and write whatever they want to. So I think independent journalism in India is fairly independent, will continue to be independent, but we might introduce or we might end up with a culture where corporates will influence a lot of what is said and done, and that is the real worry. And of course, I'm very optimistic about the social media where there's a lot being said. You know, and corporate media, by the way, is a problem worldwide. I mean, it's not only restricted to India because of the money involved.